How's it going, guys? All right, day number 2 of electrical slash plumbing. So what I'm gonna do today is drill out all the holes for the wires for the electrical. And what I'm also gonna do, and many of you are gonna be so excited and so happy, is I'm actually gonna add a hot line to the sink. So our original plan with this tiny house was to have a small, probably 6-gallon water heater, electric water heater, that would have been in the bathroom. Now that little 6-gallon water heater would basically produce enough hot water for like one shower, right? So we really wanted to minimize the amount of hot water that we needed in the house. So that's the original reason why we didn't run a hot water line to the sink, because we really wanted to minimize the energy consumption of the water heater, because down the road we were like, we really want to go 100% solar with the house. And a water heater like that, even though it's small, still takes up a lot of energy, right? It still takes up a lot of electrical energy. So we really wanted to minimize the amount of electrical energy that we'd be using if we're gonna be going solar. So that's one reason why we didn't run a hot water line to the sink. So now our plans have changed. We're gonna be using a solar water heater that's gonna be not within the actual tiny house itself. It's gonna be in our little solar pump house thing. And we'll have a water tank in there that probably holds at least 40 to 50 gallons of hot water, and that's all gonna be heated passively through the sun. So we're gonna have so much more hot water available, so it does make sense to run a hot water line to the sink there. And another reason why I didn't want to put in the hot water line was because of drilling out all these studs. But what I did today was I went to Home Depot. I rented this behemoth for the day, so this is just a right angle drill. So this is awesome for drilling through the studs. And yeah, we're gonna make short work of drilling through all these studs. So what I also got was an 1.25" auger bit. So the holes that I drill through here are gonna be a lot bigger, so it's gonna be so much easier to run the PEX through all the studs. Let me show you the difference between the hole that I was running the pipe through before and how I'll be running it now. So that's the size of the hole that I ran before. That was 7/8 inch, and this is 1.25". So you can just see how much bigger it is, and it's gonna be so much easier to run the PEX through there. So first things first, I'm gonna get all the holes drilled for the hot water line to the sink. I'll run the PEX through there, and then I can start drilling out all the holes for the electrical as well. Alright, so I've got these monstrous 1.25" holes drilled through all the studs. So this 1/2" PEX should go through them nice and smooth. Probably way smoother than last time. So let's see how this goes. So I got the hot line run, and guess what? There are no couplings in this entire run here. No couplings. So I got the hot line popping out right here. I'm just gonna peel back some of this insulation and then just tee up right into here, and then we're good to go. All right, there we go. We're teed off into the hot line here, and good to go. All right, so the hot water line is finished. What I'm gonna do now is I'm going to drill out the rest of the holes for the rest of the electrical and get that shit going in. And then once that is done, I can start with actually running the wires. right, so I've got all the holes drilled for all the wires. So what I can do now, what I'm actually going to do is just quickly explain the thought process behind drilling out the holes for the wires, because this is like the biggest part of doing the electrical in residential, is drilling out the holes. Running the wires is like pretty easy, but drilling out all the holes, especially in a house like this, is just the most amount of work. It would be a lot less work if I had like a basement to work with or an attic. It's much easier to run wires through an attic or through a basement. But in a house like this, since there is neither of those, you have to run everything through the walls, so that means that there's just a lot more drilling. So where those 3 holes down below, that's where the utility box is, and that's where the panel is going to be, the electrical panel. So let's take this first outlet as an example. So this is going to be the fridge outlet, and it's going to be on its own circuit. So the wire that goes to that box will continuously go all the way around to the panel, and it's just its own wire, and it's not going to stop in any other boxes or anything like that. It's on its own circuit. So it's kind of the same thing for these 2 counter receptacles. So this is going to be a 20 amp GFI, and then this is also going to be a 20 amp plug that's going to be protected from this GFI here. So you can see here, coming from this box, I got 1 hole there. I have 2 here because there's going to be a wire coming out of there up to this one. So you have 2 holes, 2 holes, 2 holes. Keep going until we get up to this box here, which is going to be another counter receptacle for this breakfast bar that's going to be here. So now, instead of 2 holes, since this is going to be on its own circuit as well, now I have 3 holes, 3 holes, 3 holes. Now those 3 holes are going to continuously go all the way to where the panel is there. So we keep going, 3 holes, 3 holes, and then we get to this one here. This one has 4 holes. What's going on here? So from this receptacle here, I'm going to be running a wire up to that receptacle up there, which is going to be for the projector. So I'm working with 4 holes, 4 holes, 4 holes, 4, 4, 4, 4, until I get to this mishmash here. Now I have 6 holes. 6 holes here. So that's a basic introduction to drilling out holes. You really just want to trace things out and think about where all the wires are going to go. So a good rule of thumb when you're wiring a house: 1 wire, 1 hole. Okay? There's actually code for how many conductors you can fit in a hole like that, depending on how big it is. So if I were to drill 1.25 inch holes all the way around, I could probably fit like 3 wires in there, but it's just a lot easier to drill like 3/4 inch holes all the way around instead of trying to drill like a gargantuan like 1.25 inch hole. So another example I'm going to use is these 4 pot lights right here. So these 4 pot lights are going to be powered. The power is going to be coming off of this receptacle here. So I've got holes drilled just for that one. So there's 1 hole, 1 hole, 1 hole, 1 hole up to here. So the power will come in the bottom, and then the switch line will come up the top. It'll follow up here. It'll go through that hole, into this light, then jump over this light here, and then it'll come back through that hole, that hole, that hole, to go into that light there, and then jump over to this one. And that's the end of that switch line. So again, that's just kind of like the basics. When you've been doing this for a long time, it becomes really easy to map everything out and to figure out how many holes you need and all that kind of stuff. It becomes a lot easier. Since I've done this so many times, I can really think ahead about how many holes I'm gonna need in each and every joist and follow it all the way around till we get to the panel. I'll trace the circuits out when all the wires are actually in the wall, and it'll be kind of easier to follow it along. But if you're doing electrical like this yourself, make sure you really like double check how many holes that you need, because the main reason is you don't want to be drilling holes that you forgot about when you've already started running wires, because you can start drilling through a stud and then forget that there's a wire on the other side of it. And then when you drill through that stud, you drill through the wire as well, then that wire is toast, right? You have to replace the wire. So I'm like probably 95% sure I got each and every hole drilled. If I miss 1 or 2, not a big deal. You just don't want to go back and be drilling like 10, 15, 20 holes after you've already started wiring. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna start running all the wires I'm not gonna show you that today. I will show you that in tomorrow's vlog, and then I'll also explain what the hell is happening as well. All right, I will catch you guys on tomorrow's video. Talk to you soon. Peace.